A Tibetan bowl hums. Today, 4 ancient emotions ignite in a single body, yours. Today, resentment loosens, shame cracks, anxiety finds a shore, and the heart, which seemed like a sealed vault, breathes again. Today we cross 4 thresholds, a tenderness that asks no permission, a pain that holds without drowning, a joy that celebrates what is others as if it were your own, and a calm that does not shatter. It all happens now, here, in the noise. And at the end, where there was a wound, a channel appears. This is not a spell or a mug phrase. This is not forced optimism. This is a precise practice, born in monasteries that smelled of wet wood and tea, sculpted generation after generation for when the mind catches fire. In the Buddhist tradition, they were called the abodes of the heart. They are not decorative ideas. They are emotional muscles that train. When they switch on, the common enemy, the anesthesia, the distraction, the loop of self-criticism, stops dictating the script. The journey begins. Imagine a dark room. Your phone screen throws flashes, biting headlines, scratching comparisons. Voices telling you you're not enough unless you work more, buy more, produce more. This system doesn't need caped villains. It only needs a tired, distracted heart. But there's a door, and behind that door, 4 rooms. We enter the first. First room, tenderness that asks no permission. Do not call it by its name yet. Just watch it arrive. Warm, direct, quiet. It is not sticky sweetness nor submissive niceness. It's a force that says, may you be well. Not to the world in the abstract, not to a perfect avatar, but to this imperfect body that woke up doubtful today. The scene is simple. Someone blocks your way on the street, your chest rises like a wave. Before the wave breaks into insult, this thread of voice appears. May you be well, may you be safe, may you find peace. The wave drops a centimeter. You don't notice, but your jaw stops grinding. Cut. A small child holds a hot cup with both hands. That's it. 2 hands, so you don't get burned. That's how life is held when it burns, with 2 hands. The first hand is acknowledging the pain. The second is the genuine wish for well-being. That wish doesn't deny what hurts, it includes it. You say it inward first because no one waters a garden with an empty pitcher. There's an old story. A teacher looks at a pond full of mud. He doesn't try to drink it. He doesn't beat it with a stick to make it clear. He sits beside it. The silt settles by its own weight. Tenderness works like that. It does not humiliate the mud. It lets it settle. What does it defeat here? The inner voice that talks to you like an enemy. The system that demands constant output feeds on that voice, and this first emotion turns it off. Not passivity, reset. Living practice, a name, a heartbeat, a short phrase. Choose someone easy to love, not perfect, easy. As you inhale, see them smile at something small. As you exhale, say inside, may you be well. Don't force the feeling, invite the gesture. Then change the angle. A stranger you saw today, a cashier, a neighbor you barely greet. May you be well. Lastly, the unexpected turn, yourself on a hard day. May I be well. The mind will try to negotiate, set conditions, hand over invoices. Ignore it gently. Repeat. This repetition doesn't brainwash. It teaches a language you had forgotten. The enemy appears. What if this makes me weak? What if people take advantage? Antithesis. Tenderness is not surrender. It's anchoring. When you're anchored, they don't push you so easily. A heart fed by this force does not tolerate injustice. It faces it without venom. That's its secret. It fights without becoming what it fights. Abrupt cut. Sirens far away, a hospital, dark circles. Second room. Pain that holds without drowning. We know the feeling, that weight in the sternum when someone suffers. It's a blade. We don't want to touch it. We change the subject, make a nervous joke, look away. This second emotion does the opposite. It touches the blade with a steady hand, and upon touching, something unexpected happens. You don't bleed. Space opens. Think of a night shift nurse. No superpowers. She has breath. She has presence. She has phrases so simple they don't sound like slogans. I see it. That must be hard. That's it. See. Name. No promises of happy endings, no prescriptions for productivity goals. Recognize the pain and stand beside it as one keeps watch by a fire. Not to stoke it, but so humanity doesn't go out. Cut. A statue with 1,000 arms offers 1,000 gestures, not magic arms. 1,000 ways to respond to suffering. One hand holds, another cleans, another points the way, another serves water, another simply is. The world trained us to defend ourselves from others' sorrow because it consumes energy. This emotion shows a different expense, the kind that makes you more human. Don't confuse it with pity. Pity looks down from above. This looks straight ahead. Don't confuse it with drama. Drama falls in love with the wound. This accompanies to cross the bridge. Cut to black, a heartbeat, then the murmur of a market, voices, fabrics slapping the air, split fruit smelling of sun. In that noise, a rare emotion appears like a breeze that does not push. It wants nothing for itself, and yet it illuminates. Third room, joy that does not compete. You know it. Someone you care about gets what you wanted. Your stomach ties a small, almost invisible knot. One part of you applauds, another hides in a corner. This emotion walks to that corner, opens the window and lets the day in. It doesn't celebrate to look good. It celebrates because it discovers that joy is a fire that does not run out when shared. It multiplies. Imagine a stadium. Anonymous people roar for a runner they don't know. Your body vibrates as if the victory were yours. And it is. For a second, what happens to another enlarges your chest. That's the clue. Bring it into daily life. Your friend opens a business and it goes well. Your neighbor recovers after a long illness. The baker on the corner sells all the bread before noon. Let something in you smile without calculation. Let your blood stop doing the math. Antithesis, the common enemy whispers that life is a table with few seats, that a chair taken is one less chair for you. This emotion answers with a gesture. It pulls the table out, adds plates, brings more chairs. Not out of moralism, but because it has tasted another arithmetic. When others' joy inspires instead of biting you, your inventiveness wakes up. The knot in your stomach loosens. The energy you would have spent comparing turns into fuel to create. Living practice. Start with what's easy. Picture someone you love, laughing over a small win of the day. A good call, a past exam, a door opened. With the inhalation, bring their image. With the exhalation, think, may your joy grow, may your fortune be steady, may your gladness be safe. Don't worry if it sounds mechanical at first. Repetition tunes the ear. After a few days, change the angle. Choose someone neutral. Maybe that co-worker you hardly speak to. Same phrase, same pulse. Lastly, the elegant challenge. Offer the practice to someone who triggers envy. Don't force tenderness, offer it. May your joy grow. It's a glass of cold water on a fevered brow. At first, it only refreshes for a moment. With time, the fever drops. Color cut, electric blue. Childhood memories. A birthday where you weren't picked to blow out the candles. That memory stuck, and every success of another blew on the wound. This emotion doesn't force you to forget. It invites you to grow around it. Don't amputate. Expand. The plant that meets a rock doesn't curse it. It circles, it twines and flowers anyway. Ethical note, don't confuse this joy with blind compliance. You don't celebrate what's unjust or applaud privileges that crush. You celebrate what is beautiful, just, and healing. The rest you call out firmly. This emotion doesn't make you naive. It makes you less bitter. And from lucidity without a bite, your voice weighs more. Abrupt cut. A silent room. A letter on the table. News no one wanted to read. Your blood goes cold. The fourth door doesn't open with force. It opens with space. Fourth room. Fourth room, calm that does not shatter. Picture the ocean from a cliff. On the surface, breaking waves. Deep down, a gentle world. This emotion teaches you to live from the depths without denying the waves. It is not indifference, not coldness, not the "I don't care" of someone who gave up. It's the steady pulse of someone who remembers, even in disaster, that not everything depends on them, and that precisely for that reason, their gesture matters more. The common enemy here is a pair of twins, control and despair. One promises that if you squeeze hard enough, everything will obey. The other, that nothing is worth it because nothing obeys. Between those extremes, this emotion sets a chair and invites you to sit, breathe. See the facts as they are, not as you fear or wish. Acknowledge your limits, but don't use limits as an excuse. Living practice. When something hurts and you cannot fix it today, say silently a simple phrase. I can wish the good and act with care. The fruits are not mine. A humble reminder, you sow, life harvests. Other times say, we are all owners of our actions. May my heart not close. It doesn't sound heroic, and yet it saves whole days from falling into bottomless holes. Cut, image of a pilot crossing turbulence. He can't smooth the sky. He can stabilize the plane. That difference is everything. This emotion stabilizes the plane of your attention. When that stability appears, millions of micro-decisions get clearer. You don't send the message that burns, you postpone the argument 5 minutes to bring water to the fire. You stop scrolling when you feel yourself turning to stone. Little by little, your life stops being a chain reaction and becomes a chain of responses. A frequent misunderstanding. People think this calm kills passion. The opposite happens. When you're not kidnapped by the wave, you can love more deeply, fight more cleanly, create with less noise. Passion born from the center doesn't shout, it burns well. Sound cut, the heartbeat returns. 4 rooms open, 4 rivers running to the same sea. At this point, and only now, can I say their names without them sounding like a list. Revelation. What we've walked through are the abodes of the heart. For centuries they've carried 4 names that, spoken like a mantra, keep the house of the mind habitable. The first river is loving kindness, a deliberate wish for well-being for all beings, starting with oneself. The second river is compassion, the courage to stand by pain to relieve it. The third is empathetic joy, celebrating the good in others without comparison. The fourth is equanimity, the wide calm that neither flees nor collapses. In ancient tongues their names sound like bells: Metta, Karuna, Mudita, Upekkha. Sometimes they're called the 4 immeasurables because when trained they have no edge. They don't fit in a jar, they don't fit in a resume, they don't fit in an algorithm. They overflow. Cut, a world map filling with points of light. Not distant temples, kitchens, hospital wards, classrooms, buses, offices with white lights that tire you out. There, each gesture born of these 4 currents rewrites the climate a little. It doesn't flip history overnight, but it changes the weight of a day, and days stacked make epochs, antidotes, 4 rivers, 4 poisons diluted. Loving kindness dissolves aversion, that impulse to harden your heart out of fear. Compassion disarms cruelty, that crust that turns us into spectators of pain. Empathetic joy cleans envy and resentment, the sands that jam the path. Equanimity cuts the strings of control and despair, which jerk us up and down like puppets. These aren't pretty metaphors, they are trainings. Just as muscle responds to reps, the heart responds to these sustained gestures. Training guide for real days. The enemy is loud. You will be constant. You don't need hours of incense. You need small traps set in favor of the light. Upon waking, before the first glance at the screen, 3 breaths with a soft phrase. May I be well. Name someone easy, then go live. In the middle of a tense conversation, a second of air and the thread of a voice, may pain find relief. Not to change the other, but so you don't lose yourself. When you read good news from someone who could have stung you, a minimal gesture, may your joy grow. Notice how the chest yields. At day's end, when nothing went as expected, a hand on your sternum and the reminder, I can wish the good and act with care, the fruits are not mine. Sleep from there, small rights, big climates. Contrast cut, social media noise, an avalanche of opinions, comparisons and fireworks of outrage. The attention economy wants us exhausted, because tired we buy and shout more. This system loves your resentment. It feeds the click. Your 4 trainings are insubordinate. Benevolence doesn't sell, compassion doesn't go viral as fast as scandal, empathetic joy doesn't spark debate, equanimity doesn't deliver shock metrics. For that very reason, they are deeply revolutionary. Concrete images, a teacher on the verge of tears keeps 1 second of silence before scolding. That second resets the story. A teenager about to post a sarcastic comment on a classmate's update breathes and writes something else. This looks incredible. That gesture cuts a chain of jokes that would have hurt. A caregiver for a chronically ill person learns to rest without guilt and to ask for help. Equanimity holds him. It's not abandonment, it's intelligent endurance. A work team decides to open meetings with 1 minute of breathing and a benevolence phrase. No one turns soft, they turn clearer. Cut to a story without apparent epic. An older woman sits by her window each afternoon. She watches the tree in the courtyard, the kids in the building play. Sometimes she remembers losses that prick. She's learned a small order. She begins by wishing well-being to whoever passes in the street. Then she allows the pain of her own story to be present without narrating it again and again. Next, she smiles when she hears the children's laughter, as if that sound polished the day. Finally, she repeats, I'll do what I can. What does not depend on me, I release. There are no spectators, no medals, and yet her neighborhood is a millimeter more livable because of her lit window. And what about justice? Another misunderstanding. People fear these 4 emotions will make you meek in the face of abuse. Watch closely. Benevolence keeps you from dehumanizing the adversary. Compassion places you beside the one who suffers. Empathetic joy pulls you out of the scarcity game that makes life a death match. Equanimity prevents hatred from eating you alive. When you fight from here, you fight better, not for show, for effectiveness. Cut, fine rain on asphalt, lights doubled in puddles. A distant voice recites, May you be well, may pain find relief, may your joy grow, may my calm not break. These phrases don't invoke gods, they invoke your highest part. They read like 4 tools on a belt. You don't draw them all at once. You pick the one the scene asks for. 40-day plan to light the map. You don't need monasteries. You need an agreement with yourself. For 40 dawns, where you charge your phone, leave a paper with 4 lines. Each day, at least 1. Days 1 to 10. Benevolence 11 to 20. Compassion 21 to 30. Empathetic joy 31 to 40. Equanimity. You will do it badly, you will forget, you will get distracted. It's in the plan. Return. Rivers don't run straight, they always find a way. Historical memory cut in different eras. When cities burned with wars, persecutions and plagues, small groups gathered to train the heart. They were not perfect, not stained glass saints. They were people afraid, who nevertheless sat to practice these 4 currents, like someone sharpening tools before repairing a roof in a storm. That is your task today, not to wait for the world to be kind in order to open your heart, but to open it so the world might one day find a kinder form. Your pocket kit for growling days, benevolence as warm water, for days of loss, compassion as a blanket. For jealous days, empathetic joy as a window. For chaotic days, equanimity as a smooth stone. And if one day you forget everything, at least remember this. Don't fight your pain with more pain. Hold. The rest returns on its own. Closing the bowl returns. It hums. What at first were almost poetic words has become muscle. I don't promise miracles. I promise craft. A craft to repair the mind and the heart, together with patience and precision. If these teachings lit even a corner of your chest, offer them to someone. Share them like passing a lit candle in the night. If this voice kept you company, save this place. Subscribe to Return and Bring Others. This is not the end. It is a threshold. 4 rivers seek the sea. Today, they have already begun to run.